I'm Michael Alexander. I'm a diesel mechanic and I'm 33 years old. I ended up finishing first at the St Helens BREAM Qualifier. It's the zip bait Riggy 70F and 820 is the colour, and just fished over the edges mostly, and that's where I had the success. Just twitch, pause, and that worked. It's my 6th day bream fishing ever. I usually use a Shimano Stratic, and it was on a Fenwick rod, 2 to 4 kilo. We were drifting with the wind and threw it as far as I could and just slowly worked him back. I pretty much only wound up my slack line and twitched the lure.
My name's Kris Hickson. I'm from Camden Haven, New South Wales. One of the mainlanders that's made the trip down for the Tassie ABT doubleheader this year. Had a pretty good weekend. Did lose a lot of fish, which was a bit disappointing, but a place like St Helens, you've got to get the bites to be able to land them anyway. The tackle I was using to get second place this weekend was Silverwolf 2500 reel, Silverwolf Zentetsu rod, which is a 6'8" medium light. I think it's a 2 to 5 kilo stick, 15 pound tournament Evo dial braid. And the lure I was using was an Eco Gear brim prawn, aqua brim prawn, rigged on a Van Fook worm hook. The technique was to pitch up in between the baskets in the oyster racks this weekend, wait for it to sink and watch the fish come out and eat. It was quite visual fishing. Sometimes you hooked them, sometimes you didn't, and then it was touch and go whether you got them out or where they were eating it from as it was. So for the amount of bites I had, I reckon it was probably a 1 in 6, 1 in 7 conversion rate. A lot of casting, a lot of cast not in the right place, and it was just a matter of grinding away and hoping that the right ones stick. The first day I got a few right ones. Today it was either small fish or really, really big fish, and unfortunately I couldn't land those big ones.
G'day guys, Steve Morgan here from Fishing Monthly magazines, and I've got a real affinity with this St Helens in Tasmania because I just won the last event I fished here, which is today. The last event I fished 4 years ago, I won here as well. So it's not a venue I really look forward to, but it's a venue that obviously really suits my fishing style. Like all pre-fishers in St Helens, I only caught 1 fish on the pre-fish day. Pre-fish for me is all about driving around, trying to find where the fish are. Whoever I'm fishing with, maybe let them catch a few fish, but not sting too many fish, because this event gets notoriously difficult on the second day. One of the best things I did before this event was I fished the Hobie qualifier on the Scamander River. Came about 30th in that event, and everyone there was catching fish on Z-Man grubs. And with no disrespect to the kayakers, I thought, what are they using to catch so many fish where I couldn't catch them? And so on the practice day, John O'Thompson, my guy I practice with, he caught a couple of fish on these Z-Man grubs. They're a 2.5 inch, they're motor oil colour, and it was on a very light, that's a 1/32 ounce jig head. And that's the plan that evolved during the tournament. As the tide came up in the morning, we fished a small flat next to some oyster racks on the eastern side of the eastern side of the river delta. And as that tide came up, we'd catch 2 or 3 fish on small jerk baits. When I fished with Grayson Fong on the first day, that was a small presso minnow Grayson was throwing. For me, it was a small Lucky Craft humpback minnow. And then as the tide got high enough to fish into the racks, then we'd move into the racks. So for my rack rod, I'd use this as 10 pound Unitica braid on a Steez reel, 2506 size. It's with a 7'3" AGS adging rod for Daiwa, and I find they've got this really light tip where you can flick the bait out. But when you lean onto a fish, and I had 5 and 6 pound Yamatoyo leaders on during this tournament, you really have a lot of pull to get these fish out. I'd throw these right up against the racks, let them sit, and not twitch them at all. Basically, the fish would eat them on the free fall, and each day I caught between 10 and 15 fish in the racks. The racks down here, if you're a Foster or an East Coast rack fisherman, you're used to racks with the poles being covered in oysters. They're not down here. Every single oyster is in the basket. So when a fish grabs you and runs you underneath the racks, it's not game over. All you do is you lighten off the drag, you put your rod tip down on the bottom, and you wind it slowly through the racks. So I got busted off, I think, 4 times throughout the weekend, and each one of those times it was because I was going too hard on the fish. The lighter drag I fish in the racks, the better I seem to do. So if you come into St Helens or if you come into Tasmania, be like me, be a reborn plastics fisherman, get yourself some of those little Z-Man grubs, and you too may walk away with some great fish out of St Helens. So thank you very much to Fishing Monthly, my sponsors, and to the guys that come here and support these Tassie events.